Okay, so the topic of today's video essay is why it is so stupid, so meaningless, and so dumb to listen to and be impacted by other people's opinion of you. Probably the title should be smaller, but we only do one takes here, so we will continue. About more than a decade ago, in 2015, I was in my first semester at university, and the course that I had at that point, one of the courses, was called Basic Management Skills. And my teacher, I don't want to put her on blast, by the way. I'm pretty sure she was very well-meaning. She was very well-intentioned. Basically, she had the idea that the kids in the first semester, they need to write a mini thesis paper. I was so excited to do this research, and I pulled quite a few all-nighters at that time. And you're kind of young, you can do it. You can do 5 all-nighters in a row, apparently. But that was a different time. Right now, I can't even do one. But I did a lot. Like, I worked hard a lot on that paper. And I submitted that paper to my teacher. And she took it like everyone else. And then one final day, it was the final day of our semester. We were heading into the final exams. And I was really looking forward to this day when she looks at my research and she's like, okay, this is a crazy good research. And she's like, okay, who is this guy? Who is this person? Who is this person? And she had a poker face. Like, I thought she would be happy. And I'm like, damn, like, this is my time to shine. Like, I thought about something. I visualized it. I worked hard on it. And now I'm getting my recognition. But she has a poker face. And I'm like, this is my paper. Like, I wrote it. And she's like, oh, you wrote it by yourself, right? And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, you know, class, I'll give you a live demonstration. And then she basically said an Urdu phrase. She said, "Nakhal ke liye bhi akhal ki zarurat hoti hai," which basically translates into, in order to cheat, you have to be smart. So essentially, if you're not smart and you're cheating, you will get caught. So even to cheat, you have to be smart. That is the saying that she's saying. And then she opened Turnitin. That is the, I don't know if you guys had it, but it's the only plagiarism software that we were using. And she said that, okay, I'm showing you a live demonstration. Okay. This guy copied this from somewhere in the internet, and I will show it to you right now on Turnitin. And I was confused at that point. I literally wrote that thing. Like, I literally shed sweat and blood to write it. And she's saying that I copied it. I almost felt that maybe she got the wrong guy. Maybe it's on me. Maybe someone else submitted it and she's kind of confusing it. And she opened the Word document, and it's my essay. It's my paper. It is my paper, and I'm extremely confused. And the whole class she's trying to humiliate me in front of the whole class. And then she put it in Turnitin, okay? And the plagiarism was like 6%. And it came from the references, the footnotes and the references and the citations that I used in that paper. And she paused for 10 seconds. She was trying to formulate her next thing. And she was like, okay, so you are smart. I know you cheated, but apparently you are smart to paraphrase things. And I'm like, ma'am, I wrote this all by myself, like from day one till days. Like, I'm remembering all of the 8 hours of all-nighters that I'm pulling 5 days in a row to write this entire paper, to get the hypothesis, to get the questionnaires. I got a sample size. I got it filled. I was literally on campus handing out people questionnaires to make sure my research is good. And this lady is saying that I copied it and I paraphrased it. And I learned software. I forgot the name of the software, but I learned literally data analysis software to do this research. And this woman just literally was like, you cheated. And she was like, look, I can see, I have intuition. I know how capable first semester students are. And then she gave me 7 out of 10 or something. And she was like, this would have been a 0, but I couldn't prove it. That's why I'm giving you a 7. And some losers, like some kids who didn't even work hard, they got like 8, 9, I got a 7. And what hit me that day was the sheer fact that there's irrefutable fact, truth, that I wrote this thing, but someone else's perception of how a first semester student should be or should look like or should be able to do, what the other people were doing and should not be able to do what I was doing, was basically overriding my reality, my truth, my fact. That was what was happening, right? And in the moment I realized that there's no way for her to actually believe my skills, because I know I had the skills, I know I wrote the things. She has no way to believe that. She has her own perception, she has her own view, she has my limits in her head. What I can do or what I could have done, what I could not have done, she has set that limit in her head. And she has put that limit on me in a way, even when I've done it, she refuses to believe what I was capable of, right? And it's true, because she's not in my head. She's not feeling what I'm feeling. She is not someone who can ever experience what it means to be me. Only I can experience, only I can spend a day, a second, a life in my experience of being me. That experience is unique to me. So even if the truth that I feel and I do is true in all its right, someone else might think or might assume that the experience of being me is different than what it is in reality. And she has no way to know that, because she does not know who I am. She does not know who I'm capable of. She does not know what I experience. She does not know what goes on to this brain, right? And that's why if people are commenting on what you're doing, what you're not doing, do this, do that, the moment you start giving it importance is the moment what you're saying, essentially what you're saying to yourself first and foremost, and then to the whole universe, what you're saying is you trust someone else's opinion of the experience of being you. You trust it more than your actual experience of being you, because only you know what it's like to be you, but you're trusting someone else's opinion of what it's like to be you over your own experience of what it actually is to be you. So it is absolutely important for us to develop the skill that we are unaffected by someone else's opinions of us, especially when we're doing things that other people are not accustomed to. I was speaking to one of my friends in the morning today, and this is what gave me the idea for this video. I was speaking to him, and bro is trying really hard to eat good nutrition. He's really trying hard to keep a good protein diet. And people around him, his roommates, his office folks, are basically commenting, "Oh, we don't see a lot of change in you. Are you sure you're eating protein? Is something changing or not?" And he's feeling impacted by it. And he's like, "Why is anything not changing?" And I had two questions from him. The first question was, "How long have you been doing this for, my bro? Like, how long?" And he said, 2 weeks. 2 weeks of eating protein, and he should be visually changing according to these people. Secondly, I asked him, "Okay, you've been doing this consistently for 2 weeks. How do you feel inside?" And he essentially said, "I feel amazing. I feel internally, I feel cleansed. I feel that it's less heavy on the inside." But they can't feel what he's feeling inside. He knows what he's feeling inside is a signal in the right direction. But again, he is letting other people's opinion of what it means to be him and what progress means over his actually experienced progress. You know what I mean? So it is absolutely ridiculously stupid for any one of us to put limitations on our ability to do things, or actually believe someone else's stupid opinion about who you are and what you do. Always, always remember, someone's advice or someone's take or someone's perspective is basically coming from their worldview and their reality and their problems and their troubles. If I go to someone who has lost a lot of income on cryptocurrency and investing, and I tell him, bro, should I buy Bitcoin or should I buy something? He will say, do not ever do it. I lost my entire life savings on it. It is unstable. If I go to this guy who actually invested in crypto and is doing really well, he got financial freedom because of crypto. And if I ask him, should I buy Bitcoin? He would be like, of course, go and buy Bitcoin. It is the future. It is the digital gold. It is decentralized and all of those arguments, right? So two people with completely different experiences would give you completely different advice based on what they experience. That is the key word. So if I'm going to someone with a completely different experience, reality, worldview, and I'm taking their advice and I'm applying on my experience and worldview that they have no idea about, that is insanely stupid. That doesn't even make sense. It's like taking a block, like a square block, and trying to put it in a circle. Even kids are not doing it after a while. So why are you doing it with yourself when you're all grown up? Do not let anyone define who you are. You tell them who you are. I'm not saying to stop being reflective. I'm not saying to stop taking feedback. What I'm saying is, do not let someone define the limitations that you have. Do not let someone define the capabilities that you have. Do not let someone's own experience dictate what your experience should look like or could look like. You're a completely different person. You have a completely different story. You have a completely different skill set. And some people will never see it. Some people will never see the vision. I swear some people will never see the vision. 3 days ago, I was telling a friend, a female friend of mine, that by age whatever, I will be a millionaire. And again, she is a well-meaning, she's a really good friend. She'll continue to stay a really good friend. But she essentially told me, be realistic, you know? And I went to another guy and I told him, bro, like, I'm excited. I want to be a millionaire by this age. And he was like, you're thinking too long. Why by this age? You can do it in half the time. You're smart, you're wise, you know what to do. You're right at the spot where you know exactly where you're headed. Why you're saying this many years? Should be half of this year. So it is the same statement that I'm making. It is the same enthusiasm that I have, but there are two different people with two different worldviews. So do not let anyone tell you what to do, and do not let anyone's opinion impact what you're trying to do. You should go get what you're doing. People in general who are not pursuing change and improvement, their go-to, instead of, because you're basically challenging their sense of reality. Because if you are trying to improve, you're basically going above. And it is very easy for me to bring someone down than for me to pursue the discipline, the habit, the realization that I need change. And it's much more easier for me to just taunt this guy who's going up, who's trying something better, and bring him down. It is very difficult for me to realize that I need a change. And him doing that is making me uncomfortable, because him doing that means that I'm being forced to realize those things, missing things in me as well. So I will always drag them down. So you're basically taking opinions from people who essentially are subconsciously dragging you down instead of giving you the good opinion. So do not let anyone do that. That teacher, I did not let her do anything. I took pride in the fact that my research paper was so good that someone who had published 7 papers, someone who actually graded the actual thesis, he had the thesis class at the end, was unable to believe that I could have written such a thing. So that is proof of the limitation that she put on me, and I did not have that in me. So sky's the limit. Honestly, just do what you're trying to do. Keep at it. Do not let anyone deter you or make you feel bad about what you're pursuing. I will see you in the next video.